This is Troy with Big Water UAV Solutions, and I want to take you and show you how I edit cinema footage, how I put together a cinema video in DaVinci Resolve. So I've got a timeline here. This one's already complete, but I'm going to basically show you how I do this from scratch in DaVinci Resolve. So I've got a blank timeline here. I have brought in a template which brings in my entrance clips and my outro clip, my subscribe bell and that. So in DaVinci Resolve, I've already created a bin here called Clips in this project. The project is titled FPV, How I Edit Cinema Video. So in the clips, I have the 3 clips. I took a flight on December 13th. It finally warmed up enough, and I was able to get both birds up in the air, the Pavo 30 and the Nazgul Evoque F5D Dead Cat. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and scrub through the footage. And in the cut page on DaVinci Resolve, you can see all the clips that you may want to bring in. And here they are. And we are going to set in and out points and import this footage into the timeline. So I want to start this first clip probably, we'll do it right here, in, and then we'll go ahead and set our out point. It was a beautiful day on December 13th. Probably 40 degrees and no wind, which was great. I used an ND 32 filter on the Insta 360, on the Nazgul Evoque, on the Insta 360 SMO 4K, on the Pavo 30 it was ND 16. So I probably, this is an abrupt turn right here. I'm going to want to clip this out, so I'm going to go ahead and set an out point, and I'm going to go ahead and bring this into the timeline with a smart insert. So then we'll scrub through this footage again and find out where we want to come back in. This looks like a good area right here. We'll give it an in point. And looks good, looks good. I think actually this is where I come in for a landing. So this is actually going to be my ending clip of the video. This is what I'm going to want as an ending. So I'm going to go ahead, hit O for outro, and go ahead again and do a smart insert. And that popped that clip in there. The next clip is the Pavo, and that was basically, I was just testing that everything was working. Didn't do much cinema with the Pavo. Wasn't too worried about that. The next clip, I had 2 sections in it. One of them I actually had to turn around and come back and land because I was running 25 megabytes per second on the VTX, on the video transmission on the DJI goggles. So I brought it back in to set it to 50, change channels, and we were good to go. So on this particular clip, we're going to go ahead and set my intro point here. And I already know there's an abrupt movement in here. There is still some jello in this, but I did order a GoPro 10 because I heard that the Real Steady is just it's a game changer. The Insta 360s, I processed the footage first in the Insta 360 Studio. Using flow state stabilization. And we are going to end this clip I mean, I like where I'm just right above the trees, but we're going to come back here, and when I straighten out, we're going to end this clip right there. We're going to hit O, and we are going to do a smart insert again and bring it in. We're then going to go into the edit page for further editing. And actually that moved these other clips. So this is my intro. Grab these two clips and slide them to the front. Grab these two outro clips, grab the outro clip, slide her to the end. A lot of times there's some other cutting to do, etc. So what we want to do now is arrange everything. I'm going to pull this clip back, pull this clip back, and pull this clip back, and figure out what we want as our starting clip. I always like starting at the road. We know this is going to be our ending clip. So we're going to bring this and slide this back here. Or we could come in. Actually, this got truncated a little bit. I'm going to come back just a little bit. We'll go right here. Okay. So I think we're going to start off with this clip here is going to be our first clip that we want in the sequence. This will be our second clip. And then we got our third clip, our final clip. Pretty close. Snap that. There we go. Okay, so then the next step, typically what I do is I put a rough color correction on these. We'll go ahead, let's see, we're muted on this track. Let me just go ahead and see what everything looks like here, but we're going to go into the color page. Sometimes I do the color correction last after I put the music and everything in here, but since this is pretty simple with the Insta360, I shoot everything in log. We're going to go ahead and in the menu, in the node menu here, I'm going to create another node in case I want to make any other adjustments. Add a serial node. I'm going to go ahead and apply a LUT. I've got an Insta360 LUT here from Fred D. Elps. I'm going to go ahead and pick the natural LUT. We can kind of see what that looks like here. That really looks good. Really, really looks good. Although it looks a little saturated to me. Just a little too much saturation. So what I'm going to do is go ahead in this first node here, and sometimes we'll label these. I can just go ahead and do a node label, and we'll call this LUT. Depending on the complexity of the project. Typically I don't label, but for this demonstration purposes, and we'll just put this as base or primary. So I'm going to pull the saturation down just a little bit in this clip. Take her down to about 39.8. That looks really good. So then what we can do is we can go ahead and match these other clips, which again are the same camera, right, to this particular clip we just color graded. So we'll go ahead and highlight the clip we want to apply the grade to. We'll right click on the original where we did the color correction. We'll go ahead and say apply grade, and it pops the grade up here in this clip. We'll do the same on this clip. right click on the clip that we want to take the grade from and go ahead and append grade. You can also do a shot match to the clip, but I find if you append the grade and want to make some subtle adjustments maybe on one of the other clips, it's much easier to do because all the nodes are intact, as you see up here. So that looks really good. I'm satisfied with that. So then the next thing I typically do is bring some music in, get a vibe for it. And then the next step would be to put transitions in it, just fine tune everything, and then render it out. For simplicity's sakes, we'll go ahead and pull some music in right away. And I've already selected music. I'll go back here to my master bin, and I've selected Ascent from Artlist, and we'll go ahead and drag that in here. And we will go ahead and we will enable the audio so we can actually see the waveform. What I want to do now is normalize the audio on here, and there are several different ways to do this, but right now I'm going to go ahead and use the sample peak program. I'm going to set it to -10 decibels since there is no vocal track, no narration. We'll go ahead and normalize that clip, and because this clip is shorter than the length of the video, we're going to go ahead and just hit Option and drag the clip over here to duplicate it, and then we will shorten the clip to right at the end of our video. And then we will also, at the very end, put a fade in. I like to fade about 3 seconds typically on my videos, and that'll give us a nice outro. So now the outro clip and the intro clip is all pre-built. I start with a template timeline, so that stuff is already in here. This particular template is built for cinema, so it only has a subscribe button on the end. So then the next step is to put some transitions in, and we'll go ahead and we will use, typically in the cinema I like to use a dip to color. We'll go ahead and apply that here. Let me get the timeline a little bit larger so you can see it. Go ahead and get the clip a little bit larger. And you can see here is my transition. It is set for 1 second. I generally like to pop that down to a half a second. And we will go ahead, scroll on down here, pop another dissolve clip in between here. Again, set it to a half a second, 12 frames. It is a 24 frame timeline. That is what I like to shoot in, unless I'm really going to slow something down. And then at the end of our video, we'll go ahead and also apply a dip to color dissolve so it will fade out. Zoom in there real quick. You can also navigate here. Here we are. We'll go ahead and set this to a half a second as well. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. Again, we have a base color correction. I'm satisfied with the way that looks. So now I'd like to add another, I've been wanting to try this for a while. I'm going to add another effect on here. I'm going to go ahead and add a cinema effect. We want to add a letterbox effect. And we'll have that come in right here. Let me just move this up so you can see the timeline a little bit better. I'm going to have that start right after the text does, introducing the video. And this is what this is going to look like. I've already put a title in here, December Flying. I'm not sure that's going to be the final title, but that's what I just put in here for right now. So right from the beginning, here we go. This is what she's going to look like and sound like. So I don't necessarily consider myself an expert in DaVinci Resolve, but I would consider myself an advanced user. And you know, if anybody out there would like some help or would like me to put some videos together for you, your FPV footage, contact me, let me know. I'd be glad to. We can talk about that, or you know, do your YouTube videos. So I think that letterbox looks great. We're gonna go with that. That transition looked great. Fade to black. Come back over the trees. So this letterbox, we want to ride all the way to the end. We're gonna grab this and pull her all the way to the very end, and let's see what the end looks like. And it should fade out. And because of that little transition, I might pull this back just a tad. Perhaps right there. And I think that looks fine just like that. So thanks for watching. If you are interested in this type of content, I'd be glad to do some more videos on how I edit in DaVinci Resolve. Again, with this one, I took the footage, I processed it in Insta 360 Studio, and then with flow state stabilization, created my project in DaVinci Resolve, brought the footage in, clipped the footage, arranged it on the timeline, brought in some music, threw in some transitions, and it's ready to go. So then we'll go to the deliver page real quick, and I'll show you how that operates. We go to deliver. We've already got this in here because I've already rendered this once. Our file name, and then we browse to our location. I'm going to save this in MP4, H.265. It's going to be in 4K. I'm restricting the megabytes per second for YouTube. I've got it at 60,000, and we'll go ahead and hit this and then add to render queue. Once you do that, over in the render queue, it will render out and it will show you how long it takes. And these two test ones I've done here have done about three minutes for a 4-minute and 15-second video. Anyways, again, I hope you enjoy this. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe, give us a like, remember, and hit that bell to be notified new videos. And remember, FPV is not a crime, nor is anything else I do. Thanks much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.